Before watching the video, if you've not subscribed to BBCI channel, please press the subscription icon and do press the bell icon to keep getting regular updates.
On 7th May 2020, the Buddha Purnima day, I congratulate all of my friends of the world who are working to make the humanist society, the society where everybody, particularly the workers, they should get the real freedom, the real justice, the equality, and a society where there should be a brotherhood. Now, friends, on 1st May, the International Labour Day, I had given my views in detail about the revival and sustenance of Kashi Ramji and E.V.R. Ramaswamy Naiker's movement in India. In that, I had explained how Kashi Ramji movement and E.V.R. Ramaswamy Naiker's movement and the movement of all great men, they have been vanished, or they have been manipulated and crushed by Manuvadis. Thereby I had given you a definition of Manuvad. Explained on 1st May, Manuvad is a system where microscopic minority not only rule vast majority democratically, but also it exploit, oppress and crush and keep the human being like animals through mental slavery. Now, what is mental slavery and how these Manuvadis, they develop this mental slavery in the Bahujan Samaj, particularly in India? Actually, Manuvadis, since the birth of human beings in India, particularly Sudras and the ladies, they make their mind in such a way that their mind become mental slave. Mental slave mind is a condition where your mind direct you to do something which is against your happiness, which is against your interest, which is against your development, which is against your peace. They make your mind mental slave in such a way that you start fighting among yourself, among your family, among your caste, among your different castes, among your, our mind becomes such that we start fighting each other due to false ego. Now, this is all due to they have developed a pattern of making people fundamentalist and closed mind. In Hindi we call it Pakhandvad. Through Pakhandvad, they develop Andhvishwas, blind faith in the human being. So, to propagate their own ideology of Manuvad. So now the question is, how they do it? They do it through Hindu religion. Now what is religion? You know, modern philosophers have given three views. What a religion should be, or what the relationship of man and religion should be, or society should be. As we have already seen, religion means the rules imposed to maintain the society. Religion means imposed to maintenance of society. Now this definition and was given by none less than Mr. Gangadhar Tilak, the leader of the Sanatani Hindus. But they never explained what is the motive and nature of these rules. Now, their motive is to rule the vast majority and to exploit vast majority and for their vested interest. Now, modern philosophers, they have explained what should be the relation between man and the society. Now, generally, the modern philosophers have given these three views, that the religion should be to achieve happiness for individuals, or religion should be to develop man's interest, man's inherent quality given by the nature, Now, in Maslow's term, these modern philosophers, they believe that the human being had given by nature inherent energies and qualities, and the ultimate goal of the man should be self-actualization in terms of Maslow's hierarchy of theory, motivational theory. He has given 5 needs for everybody, every man all over the world. The topmost need is the self-actualization. And the third view of the philosopher about the relationship between man and the society is to create an ideal society. But Hindu philosophers or the propagandists of Hindu religion, in their view, in Hindu religion, there is no place for individual or for the development of human beings. Actually, it is constructed on a class concept. As all of you know that as per Hindu religion, the society is divided into 4 classes. They call it Varnas, 4 Varnas: Brahmin, Kshatri, Vaishya and Shudras. Shudras and Ati-Shudras, you may call. So, there, in order to keep these masses, vast masses, mentally slave, they developed these classes and they developed their own rules as per Manusmriti. Now the question is, who will remove the mental slavery from the Bahujan Samaj, and how it can be removed? Now, this is the responsibility of the educated class of the Bahujan Samaj, who got advantage after independence through constitution. We got reservation. The educated class, they got everything. Now, their duty is first to learn themselves what Ambedkar did, how he got the rights, and then they should learn from the movement of Mahatma Phule, Shahuji Maharaj, E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar, Mahanayak Kashiramji, how they struggled how they designed their campaign to awaken the masses, particularly Kashi Ramji, because I am having long association with Kashi Ramji, particularly from 1978 to 2003 when he fell sick. So I am having first-hand experience how this campaign, different campaign in the contemporary India, in the present day situation, we can develop and awaken our masses and make them and remove their mental slavery. So this is the responsibility of the educated class. Now I'll give you one example. I'll quote how Babasaheb Ambedkar on 31st May 1936 at Mahar Conference in Bombay, on 31st May 1936 at Mahar Conference at Bombay, while deliberating on the topic what path to salvation, he explained in detail why he is converting to Buddhism. What is religion? What is the relation between society and the man? What is Hindu religion? Why Sudras, Ati Sudras should leave the Hindu religion? So, in the end, Babasaheb Ambedkar quoted an incident at the last stage of Lord Buddha's time. After Lord Buddha had recovered from his illness, he was resting on a seat under a tree. His disciple, the Venerable Anand, approached the Buddha, and he, after wishing the Lord Buddha, Anand said that my body has been heavy like lead. My mind is not in peace. I cannot concentrate on the Dhamma. And most of the Bhikkhu Sangha Bhikkhus, they are also of the same view that unless the Lord Buddha will give the last message to his disciple, the Lord Buddha may not get Nibbana. So what is your last message? So in order to remove the mental slavery from the Bhikkhu Sangha, the last message of Lord Buddha was, now I'm quoting from Babasaheb Ambedkar's speech. Lord Buddha replied, Ananda, I have preached the Dhamma with an open heart, without concealing anything. The Tathagat has not kept anything concealed, as some other teachers do. So Ananda, what more can I tell to Bhikkhu Sangha? So Ananda, be self-illuminating like the lamp. Don't be dependent for light like the earth. Don't be satellite. Be a light unto thyself. Believe in self. Don't be dependent on others. Be truthful. Always take refuge in the truth and do not surrender to anybody. So this was the last message of Lord Buddha to Ananda and Bhikkhu Sangha. So this message shows that how we can remove our mental slavery. In the same conference, Babasaheb Ambedkar had also given his message that be your own guide, take refuge in reason, do not listen to advice of others, do not succumb to others, be truthful, take refuge in truth, never surrender to anybody. So this was the last message given by Babasaheb Ambedkar on 31st May 1936. So friends, now on the eve of Bhagwan Buddha Jayanti, I appeal to all the leaders, activists, educated class who took advantage of Baba Saheb Ambedkar's struggle through constitution, that they should read thoroughly, particularly the Baba Saheb Ambedkar's views, how to remove our mental slavery. I will be sending you a link also after this video. So you go through that link. That is a full speech of Baba Saheb Ambedkar given on 31st May 1936. So all these things will show you how we have to remove our mental slavery, and then we should work day and night to remove the mental slavery of the masses from India. Thank you very much.